Why do we wait until we collapse before we finally give ourselves permission to rest? Why do we glorify burnout like it's a badge of honor? Every day, people push themselves to the edge, working longer hours, skipping meals, ignoring exhaustion, chasing the idea that I'll rest when it's done. But what if that's exactly what's keeping you stuck? What if resting when you're tired is a key to getting more done, living longer, and actually enjoying your life? When was the last time you gave yourself permission to pause, not because you were forced to, but because you chose to? Do you really believe rest is laziness, or have you just been conditioned to feel guilty for taking care of yourself? Are you achieving, or are you just surviving? Let's be honest, how many of us are secretly proud when we say, I barely slept last night, or I haven't taken a break in weeks, as if suffering is a sign that we're doing life right? We live in a world where exhaustion is worn like a trophy, where pushing past your limits is praised, and slowing down is mistaken for weakness. But the truth is, constantly pushing yourself isn't strength, it's survival. Resting when you're tired is not a weakness, but a hidden strength. Welcome to Brain Vital Channel. If you're new here, we're so glad you found us. This is your go-to spot for easy, powerful tips to grow stronger, smarter, and succeed in life. Tired of being pushed around? Want to feel unstoppable and in control? Ready to discover the game-changing secrets that can take you to the next level? Smash that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell so you're always in the loop when we drop new videos. This isn't just fun, it's about unlocking your true power. You have a choice. Stay where you are or step up and become the best version of yourself. Now let's continue. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you do, it's still never enough? Like there's always another task, another message, another deadline waiting for you right after you finish the one you're on? In today's world, we're constantly told to keep going, push through, and never stop. We hear things like, you can sleep when you're dead. Winners work while others rest. Grind now, shine later. And for a while, that might even feel inspiring, until it doesn't. Until you're running on empty. Until your body starts whispering or shouting that it can't keep up anymore. We live in a culture that often equates busyness with value. The more you're doing, the more productive you look. And the more productive you look, the more successful people assume you are. But here's the truth no one tells you. Being constantly busy doesn't mean you're being effective. It just means you're always doing something. We're taught to wear our exhaustion like a trophy. We post about late nights, skipped meals, sleepless grinds. But how often do we celebrate peace? How often do we admire someone for knowing when to stop? The push-through mentality leads to burnout. The idea that you always have to push through sounds admirable until you hit a wall. Burnout doesn't usually come all at once. It creeps in slowly. It starts with fatigue. Then comes irritation. You feel disconnected, even from things you used to love. Your body feels heavy. Your mind feels foggy. And the worst part, when you're in it, you still feel like you should keep going. You feel guilty for needing a break. But let's ask a deeper question. Why do we believe rest must be earned? Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's a part of it. Here's something we all need to hear. Rest is not a reward. It's a requirement. Just like your phone needs to recharge to function, your mind and body need rest to perform well. High performers in any field, whether it's athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs, don't just train hard. They recover smart. They know that clarity, creativity, and energy don't come from nonstop motion. They come from rhythm. Rest and work are partners, not enemies. You were never meant to run at full speed all the time. So let me ask you this. What would happen if you redefine what productive means for you? What if being productive included taking care of yourself, saying no, and slowing down when you need to? Because true productivity isn't just about getting things done. It's about getting the right things done with the right energy at the right time. And sometimes the wisest thing you can do is rest. Rest is not a pause, it's a process of renewal. Let's begin with this. Rest isn't just about stopping. It's about healing. When your body and mind rest, they're not doing nothing, they're doing repair work. Your brain processes information while you sleep. Your muscles recover from physical strain. Your nervous system resets after being overstimulated all day. In fact, studies show that rest helps the brain consolidate memories, make better decisions, and even spark creativity. That moment you've been chasing, it might come when you finally step away and rest. What happens without rest? There's a massive difference between just being awake and being truly functional. When you don't rest, cognitive functions decline. You can't think clearly, focus, or recall important details. Emotions get unstable. Irritation, anxiety, and even depression increase. Physical health suffers, from headaches and low energy to weakened immunity. And yet, many people are so used to running on fumes, they've normalized it. Let's be honest. Have you ever felt tired all the time? Like, no matter how much coffee you drink or how much you push, your energy just doesn't come back? That's not laziness. That's exhaustion, and your body is trying to send you a message. Now, here's something important. Sleep isn't the only form of rest, but it is one of the most essential. Sleep deprivation affects the same brain pathways as alcohol. Yes, being sleep deprived is like being drunk. It lowers your ability to regulate emotions, make decisions, and respond well to stress. Over time, it increases the risk of serious health issues, heart disease, diabetes, and even Alzheimer's. But even beyond sleep, there's something called conscious rest. This means taking intentional moments during the day to breathe, step back, and just be. Even 5 minutes of mindful stillness can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and reset your mental clarity. Burnout is not just feeling tired. It's a deep, chronic condition that affects every part of your life. Physical signs of burnout: constant fatigue, frequent illness, sleep problems or insomnia. Mental signs: forgetfulness, brain fog, inability to concentrate. Emotional signs: feeling detached or numb, losing interest in things you used to enjoy, feeling overwhelmed, hopeless, or unmotivated. And the scariest part? Many people don't even realize they're in burnout until they completely crash. That's why resting when you're tired is not optional, it's vital. You don't have to wait for burnout to force you to stop. You can choose to rest before it becomes a crisis. Rest is not quitting. It's caring. It's wise. It's human. Let's talk about something we all do, but often too late: ignoring the quiet whispers of our own body. We live in a world that celebrates pushing limits. We tell ourselves, just a little more, but eventually a whisper turns into a scream. And by the time we finally listen, it's because something broke. So, how do we start listening before that happens? Signs you're running on empty. Your body sends signals when it's tired, subtle ones at first. But if you don't pay attention, they get louder. Here are some signs you might be running on empty. Constant fatigue, even after a full night's sleep. Irritability, snapping at small things or feeling overly emotional. Lack of focus, struggling to concentrate, forgetting simple tasks. Tension, headaches, tight shoulders, a clenched jaw. Loss of joy, things you used to enjoy now feel like a chore. Overwhelm, feeling paralyzed even by small decisions. These aren't signs of weakness. They're invitations from your own body to slow down, to check in, to care. Ignoring your body signals leads to long-term damage. When we constantly override our body's needs, here's what happens. Burnout becomes a lifestyle instead of a warning. Immune system crashes. You get sick more often. Mental health declines. Anxiety and depression creep in. Chronic issues like fatigue, digestive problems, and insomnia start to appear. And perhaps most painfully, you stop trusting yourself. Because deep down, you knew you needed a rest. But you didn't. How to start tuning into your natural energy cycles. Listening to your body doesn't mean being lazy. It means being wise. Here's how to begin. Pause for a moment each day. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? Physically, mentally, emotionally? Track your energy levels. Notice when during the day you feel most alert or most drained. Start shaping your schedule around that. Honor your limits. If your body says stop, don't argue. Take a break. Step outside. Breathe. Create a wind-down ritual. Your body craves rhythm. A nightly routine, no screens, dim lights, calming music, can train your body to relax and rest. Practice stillness. Even just 5 minutes of silence, deep breathing, or gentle stretching can reset your nervous system. Your body is not a machine. It's a living, breathing messenger, and it's always speaking. The question is, are you listening? Don't wait for a breakdown to pay attention. Start now. Start small. Start by simply noticing. Because every time you choose to rest when you're tired, you're not quitting, you're healing. Let's talk about something that might sound simple on the surface, but it's something most of us struggle to accept deep down. Rest is not weakness. In fact, resting might be one of the strongest and wisest decisions you can make, especially in a world that constantly pressures you to keep going. We live in a time where exhaustion is worn like a badge of honor, where we say things like, I barely slept, or I've been grinding nonstop, almost like it's something to be proud of. But here's the truth. Being tired all the time doesn't mean you're strong. It just means you're depleted. Think about it this way. When you rest intentionally and consistently, you're not giving up. You're recharging. You're respecting your energy, your mental health, your long-term vision. That's not weakness. That's strategy. Rest is what allows you to keep showing up not just once, but again and again at your highest level. Imagine your body and mind like a battery. What happens when you keep running on 1%? Eventually, you shut down. Smart people don't wait until they're at zero. They plug in before they crash. Here's something interesting. The world's top performers, athletes, CEOs, world-class creators, they don't hustle 24/7. They have mastered the rhythm of push and pause. LeBron James reportedly sleeps 8 to 10 hours a night and takes naps during the day. Ariana Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, built an entire company around sleep advocacy after collapsing from exhaustion. Even tech CEOs, people leading billion-dollar companies, schedule time for rest, reflection, silence. Why? Because they know the power of recovery. They understand that clarity, creativity, and good decisions don't come from a burnout mind. They come from a mind that's been given space to breathe. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the grind all day mindset. You've heard it before. Sleep is for the weak. I'll rest when I'm dead. Hustle 24/7. But let's be honest, how's that working for people? We're seeing record levels of anxiety, depression, burnout, and even physical illness, all because we were taught that stopping equals failure. But the truth is this: grinding without rest doesn't make you successful. It just makes you exhausted. And here's something nobody talks about. Sometimes it's the most insecure people who grind the hardest, not because they're driven, but because they're afraid of feeling not enough if they stop. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. It's a requirement for doing anything well over time. So the next time you feel guilty for resting, remember this: you are not a machine. You are not here to prove your worth through pain. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to rest. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Not all rest looks the same. So many of us believe rest just means sleeping more, but rest comes in many forms. And each form nurtures a different part of who we are. We are not just bodies, we are minds, hearts, and spirits. And just like a plant needs more than sunlight, we need more than just sleep to truly feel whole again. Physical rest. This is the most obvious one and the most neglected. We think we can cheat it with caffeine or push through it with energy drinks. But physical rest isn't optional. Your body keeps score. Physical rest includes sleep, not just quantity but quality. Are you getting deep, uninterrupted rest? Or are you waking up still tired? Naps. Short power naps, 15 to 30 minutes, can reset your focus and calm your nervous system. Downtime. Lying down, taking breaks between tasks, giving your muscles and joints time to recover, especially if your work is physical. Reminder: you don't need to be in a hospital bed before you decide to rest. Listen to your body before it forces you to stop. Mental rest. This is the one we often don't even realize we need. If your mind feels cluttered, overwhelmed, or constantly on, you might be mentally exhausted. Mental rest looks like meditation or deep breathing. Just 5 to 10 minutes of slowing down your thoughts can bring clarity. Silence. No podcast, no music, no stimulation. Just quiet. Let your thoughts settle like snow in a globe. Stepping away from screens. Our brains are not built to process as much information all day. Take real breaks without checking your phone. Mental rest isn't laziness. It's maintenance. Just like clearing tabs on a browser so it doesn't crash. Emotional rest. This one runs deep. Sometimes we carry so much pain, pressure, expectations that it wears us down emotionally. You might be emotionally tired if you feel drained after conversations. You're pretending you're okay all the time. You're constantly putting others first, with nothing left for yourself. Emotional rest includes journaling, write it out. Say what you can't say out loud. Therapy or talking to someone safe. Give yourself space to be heard. Alone time, not isolation but intentional solitude, where you can breathe without performing. Emotional rest gives your heart space to be honest, soft, and safe again. Creative rest. This might surprise you, but creativity gets tired too. If you're always outputting, working, writing, solving, building, you'll eventually feel drained, uninspired, stuck. Creative rest is about receiving, not producing. Letting inspiration flow into you instead of constantly trying to give something out. Creative rest can be spending time in nature where nothing is rushed and beauty is everywhere. Listening to music or watching art, not to analyze it, just to feel it. Play, yes, play. No goals, no outcomes, just fun. Dancing, doodling, laughing. Creative rest revives the soul. It reminds you that life is more than tasks, it's about wonder. Rest is not selfish, it's sacred. And the more you understand the different ways you can rest, the more you'll be able to heal, grow, and live from a place of fullness, not just function. So ask yourself, what kind of rest have I been missing lately? And just gently start giving yourself permission to receive it. Steps to rest more intentionally. Let's talk about what it actually looks like to rest with intention. Because rest isn't just about doing nothing. It's about doing what your mind, body, and soul truly need in that moment. And that starts with being deliberate. Think about this. If your calendar is full of tasks, meetings, and responsibilities, but there's nowhere in there that says rest, then chances are it's the first thing you'll skip. Here's a simple truth. If you don't plan your rest, it won't happen. Set a time, even just 20 minutes a day, where you put away your phone, step away from your work, and allow yourself to breathe. Not because everything is done, but because you matter. Whether to power nap, a walk outside, or a quiet time with no expectations, treat that moment like an important appointment with yourself. Because it is. Now, this is hard, especially if you're a giver, a doer, someone who doesn't want to let anyone down. But here's the thing. Every time you say yes to something you don't have the energy for, you're saying no to your peace, your rest, your healing. Learning to say no isn't selfish, it's wise. It's okay to say, I'm not available right now. Or, I'd love to help, but I need to take care of myself first. That's not weakness. That's maturity. It's knowing your limits and choosing to honor them before your body forces you to. Rest before you crash. Too often, we wait until we're running on fumes. We wait until our body is aching. Our mind is numb. Our emotions are frayed. Then we finally say, okay, I guess I need a break. But rest shouldn't be a last resort. It should be a rhythm. Think of it like your phone. You don't wait for it to hit 1% to plug it in, right? You charge it before it dies. Why? Because it's valuable. You need it to work. Well, so are you. Your energy, your clarity, your peace, they matter. So give yourself rest before you're exhausted, before the crash, before the breakdown. You don't need to earn your rest by suffering first. Let me say this with love. Rest is not a luxury. It's not something you squeeze in when you've done enough. It's a necessity. It's a form of love, a quiet, gentle way of saying, I matter too. So please, don't wait until your body breaks down to listen. Don't wait until your heart feels heavy or your mind shuts down. Start today. Start small. Start intentionally. You're not a machine. You're a human being. You don't need to earn your rest. Resting when you're tired is self-respect in action. Let's be real for a second. We live in a world that often treats people like machines, like we're only valuable when we're producing, achieving, grinding. But here's the truth. You're not a machine. You were never meant to run 24/7. You have a body that needs care, a mind that needs stillness, and a soul that needs space to breathe. So many of us carry this belief. I have to finish everything first, then I'll rest. But who taught us that rest is something we have to earn? That's a dangerous mindset, because life doesn't always hand you a complete moment. There's always something else to do. If you're always waiting for the perfect pause, you may never rest at all. Let that sink in. You don't need to finish everything before you give yourself permission to pause. Resting when you're tired is not laziness. It's not giving up. It's wisdom. It's maturity. It's self-respect in action. Think about it. If someone you love was exhausted, would you tell them to keep pushing through? Or would you say, hey, you've done enough. Breathe. Rest. You're human. Now ask yourself, why don't you give yourself that same grace? The machine mentality versus the human experience. A machine might break down from overuse, and you just replace the part and keep it going. But you're not made of metal. You feel, you bleed, you burn out. And unlike machines, you don't have spare parts. You only get one body, one mind, one soul. So why are we treating ourselves like we're built for nonstop output? You weren't created to just get through the day. You were made to live, to experience, to be fully present. And that requires rest. Rest is an act of healing, not delay. When you rest, you're not stepping away from life, you're stepping into alignment with life. You're honoring your rhythm. You're recharging your mind. You're showing yourself that your well-being matters just as much as your goals. And trust this, when you rest well, you rise stronger. So maybe it's time to rewrite the story in your head. You don't rest because you're weak. You rest because you're wise. You don't rest to escape life. You rest so you can engage with it fully. And you don't need to finish it all before you pause. You just need to recognize when your body whispers, I'm tired, and honor that, because real strength, it's not found in how much you can push through. It's found in knowing when to pause with grace, with humility, and with love for yourself. You don't have to prove your worth by how much you can endure. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just rest. Not when you're finished, but when you're tired. Remember, rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. You don't have to earn your rest. You just have to honor your limits. So when you're tired, rest, recharge, then rise stronger. If this message hit home, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Until next time, take care of yourself.